At the start of this year, I decided to give up drinking alcohol. And I don't know how long I'll do it for, but in today's podcast, I want to go through the benefits that I'm feeling already 6 weeks in to, as I say, giving up alcohol. And it is honestly a very weird feeling that I've got. So before we get into it, please make sure that you like the podcast, share the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, give it a 5-star rating. Just do everything that you possibly can to help me grow the podcast. If you're enjoying it, why not help others find the podcast? Do I want to say podcast any more times? Anyway, let's get into the podcast. So, as I say, my last drink was actually before midnight on New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, I got COVID over New Year's. So, yeah, I tried to battle through, but I couldn't really do that. So, yeah, last drink was then. And when I gave up drinking, was it 2021? Gave up drinking for 6 months. I started it. I wanted to do a month of no drinking. When I got to a month, I was like, that was pretty easy. I'm the type of person that likes a challenge. So rather than say, oh, I'll do another month, well, I already know that I can do a month. So in my head, I was like, what's going to be the next challenge? Okay, why not double the amount of time that I say I'm going to do to myself? So I went to 3 months. And eventually I thought, sod it, I'll add another 3 months on top of that. And I took it to 6 months. And then I wouldn't say I caved, but I planned to drink. It was never something that I wanted to knock on the head forever. So I started drinking again. But the first time I stopped drinking alcohol, I actually realised quite a lot. And the amount of changes that I felt when I wasn't drinking before has always made me know that I will go back to a period of time where I do not drink. And I could honestly say, going forward for the rest of my life, I think that there will be periods throughout every single year where I decide not to drink. And it's got nothing to do with my body, or obviously a lot of people in fitness or the fitness industry say that alcohol will affect your body, and if you want to get great results, then don't drink alcohol. It has not got anything to do with that. It's just purely for how my mind works when I'm not drinking. So the first time that I quit, I got to about the 4-week point and I thought, okay, this is relatively easy. I don't feel different. But as I've told you already, let's take it to 2 months. When I took it from 1 to 2 months, it was after, honestly, I'd say the 5th or 6th week. I think it was the 5th week. I can't really explain or describe the feeling that I had when I stopped drinking. In week 5, the only way I can describe it is my brain actually felt like it was working. It felt like there was something else in my head that I'm not used to. I felt very aware, very intelligent, very calm, very focused, very disciplined. All of these positive changes after around 5 weeks of not drinking. And I thought, is that because other things in my life have changed so much, or is it solely because of the fact that I have knocked alcohol on the head? Now, it's obvious. A lot of people do dry January or whatever, which is for 4 weeks. And I honestly believe that I've done dry January in the past. And for me, I don't rate it. I just thought, okay, don't get me wrong, at the time it was a good way to save money, or just a good way to reset for the year, but it wasn't a case of I felt any different, which is the first point that I want to make to anyone that is thinking about giving up alcohol for a little period of time. 4 weeks isn't enough in my opinion, because the first time I quit, it took 5 weeks for me to feel a difference, and this time it has taken a similar time. It's over the 5th, between the 5th and 6th week, that I have noticed considerable differences to the way I am. My sleep has improved, my energy has improved, my focus has improved, as I've said already, my discipline has improved, my ability to remember things has improved a lot. I feel a hell of a lot healthier. I've got more motivation to do everyday things. And I would say I've mentioned that I'm more focused, but I feel a lot more like a sponge, in the sense like I want to learn new things. I don't feel, brain dead isn't the right word, but I feel like I'm operating on a level above just because I've knocked drinking alcohol on the head. And they're all obviously fantastic positives from not drinking. And if I'm 6 weeks in now and I sustain this for however long, I know that I'm going to feel fantastic after. I know I am. I already feel great. I can't believe it. Like, I'm actually recording this podcast at 5 to 8 on a Sunday night after having a roast dinner. And there's no way pre me knocking drinking on the head I would ever have done this. I would have had a glass of wine with my roast and I'd be sitting in the living room just chilling now. And I'm not saying that that is a bad thing to do, but it's just like my motivation levels are there to just get shit done, which is obviously a fantastic feeling to have. Not only that, and a huge one, which I think is an amazing benefit of not drinking, is my ability to say no to things that I actually don't want to do has just flown through the roof. You find it incredibly difficult to say no to things. If you're British, you know that we're just like a culture of people that we apologise when things aren't our fault, and we say yes to things that we have no actual remote interest in wanting to go to. But since stopping drinking, over the last few weeks, I've had to say no to a lot of plans, a lot of things that potentially I wanted to do, or not I wanted to do, but things I would have liked to have done, but my priorities are different. And before, it would have been like, okay, I would feel like my willpower to stay away from those things. And don't worry, when I say those things, I know that sounds like it could be like drugs or some shit like that. It's not. It's just like things that I just don't want to do. Or things that are distractions in my life, so to speak. Whereas now it's like, I feel like, especially over the last week, I'm just doing exactly what I want to do all the time. And if things don't align with what I want to do, then I'm just not doing them. And that ability to say no, I know you might be listening to this thinking, what the hell does that have to do with drinking? But for me, if I'm going out with my mates, they're going to say, do you want to drink? Whether they realise or not that I'm not drinking, they're still going to offer, if we're in a round, they're going to be like, oh, do you want to drink? So my ability to say no to the people that are closest to me, I wouldn't say they peer pressure me, but that's going to be one of the most difficult no's that I'm going to have to say, because obviously all my mates just want to have a laugh. Not that I can't have a laugh anyway, but if I can say no in that situation, subconsciously it tells me that I can say no in other situations that aren't even that difficult. And that's exactly what's happened. Like, my performance in the gym has skyrocketed. As I say, like, I want to just be busy all the time. I want to be like, I'm just loving this feeling at the moment of the positivity. So I've obviously listed a hell of a lot of things there that have been amazing in week 5 to 6 of me not drinking. And at the moment, I mean, I've got a stag, I've got a wedding later on this year, which I'm debating whether or not I will drink at, but there's not been one time where I've been tempted, and I think I've been out every single weekend so far. So yeah, long may it continue. If it's something that you're thinking about doing, honestly, it does feel great. It feels great. I can't lie to you. And it doesn't stop you from doing anything. And I understand that some people need to have a drink because they feel maybe a little bit insecure if they're on a night out, or they're not as confident on a night out, but I'm just not one of those people. So if you're one of those people, then obviously I'm not saying drink to get confidence, because that's probably not the best way to go about it. But for me, it just doesn't affect my social life whatsoever, and I'm loving it. So I couldn't recommend just stopping drinking, even if it's for a little bit. But if you're somebody that does a dry Jan, don't do that. 4 weeks is not enough. What I've found over the last 2 times that I've done no drinking is between week 5 and 6. Your brain just starts to operate at a different level. I don't know scientific studies behind that, but that's just what I've found. If you found this podcast useful, please do like and subscribe. As I mentioned at the start of the video, my goal is to influence as many people as I can in a healthy, beneficial way. And I want to make it clear that I'm not an influencer, but I want to spread positive messages of things that I've tried in my life that have made my mental health and mindset better, or overall health better. That's the goal at the end of the day. If I can check out, leave this world, helping people, as many people as I can, get healthy in their mind and bodies, then I'm going to die a happy man. So that's the pod. Have a great week. And of course, I will catch you in the next one.